Morning. Just loading up through this StreamYard platform. Interesting. Saturday morning. It is the God's sake, what is it? It's the 14th of November, 2020. 2020. I just need to make sure I can see what you can see. Find my little device here. Yeah, here we go. How are we all doing? Is everybody all right? It takes a little while for this to load up on YouTube through StreamYard, but I want to bring you some screenshots this morning. There's apparently, I don't know how true this is. I'm going to wait for a few of you to pop in actually before I start ranting on. Nice to see it. The see you nice. Just switch that round. That's a bit better. Righto. How are we doing, guys? Are we all right? Fantastic. We've got four in the room. Stevie J. Sleep, Bill Thompson. Hello, Bill. How are you, mate? I want to just clear something up. A few weeks ago, as you guys know, I went into a local tool station in Tunbridge and got verbally assaulted by the manager, a guy called Carl. Now, first and foremost, I've got no beef with Carl at all. Seems a nice guy. I understand the fear levels of what's going on in this country, and I understand the government and the media are a very fine instrument of whipping up this stuff within us. And what I'd like to say is that we shouldn't all be fighting amongst one another. We should understand who the perpetrators are. Now, he's popped onto Facebook and left me quite a violent message, and now. That's not a problem, and he said that I suggested that I wished his son was dead. Now that mortified me. Look, I'm pro-life. I love people. I love souls. I would never ever think that or wish that about anybody. Never. No, and I'm not right. And now I'm just a man. We're all equal, right? Every single one of us. We're just freaking equal. So. He did mention again that his son's got diabetes. Now, look, listen, I'm going to share some stuff with you guys this morning. And if you can get this to Carl, it might help. I'm not here to hinder you, Carl. I'm not here to harm you. I certainly never, ever meant anything bad to your son. The reason why I straighten my shoulders is because I'm like, I don't know about your situation. That's the only reason. My brain was like, well, I don't know, Matt. I don't know you. How would I know your son's in hospital? That's the reason why I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Yeah. So I send your son the best wealth of wishes to get well, brother. I would never, ever wish anybody or anybody's child harm. I'm not the system. The system seems to want to harm everyone, not me. No chance. Anyway, so the point is, I'm going to talk to you about a friend of mine that's got diabetes, okay? And he's had diabetes since he was... God, Steve probably had diabetes since he was 13 or 14. And I'm going to give you a very interesting fact. He likes to go abroad to Spain, Portugal, all these other places about 5 or 6 times a year. And my friend is on a pump, a diabetes pump, okay, which tops up his insulin. Now, you can be either sugar deficient or too much sugar. That's what your pancreas can create. And I'm going to show you these organs and what the functions of the organs are, the body. He goes abroad 5 or 6 times a year, and he is Will Smith. This guy's clearly a tool. He's not. The thing is, he's in so much. Yeah, firstly, his son's in hospital with diabetes. Now, I would understand. I understand that he's upset. I do. I get it. I do get it. I do get it. I understand it. And I just wish his son all the best, and his family, I wish him all the best. And I hope they get well soon. I really, really do. And I'm going to try and offer some little advice this morning and maybe do things that will help him get better. But my friend goes abroad about 5 or 6 times a year. He normally does. I don't know how many times he's been abroad this year. But he says when he gets out and he gets abroad, he don't need his diabetic pump. For 2 weeks when he's there. He doesn't need to take his diabetes pump. Now, he contributed it to me. He said it could be the food, it could be the atmosphere. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what is the one thing that he's going to get abroad that he's not going to get here pretty much all the time? That's heat and that's sunshine. Now, what does the sunshine give us? It gives us vitamin D. So I reckon, now here's the thing with vitamin D, and you'll notice this with your animals, your dogs, etc. A dog will lay out in the sun all day, right? And then you'll see it's licking its coat. It licks its coat because it's licking the vitamin D off its coat, right? We go abroad and we get all that vitamin D, and then we jump in the shower at night and wash it off. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to let the vitamin D absorb into our body. So I would say vitamin D supplement is wholly important if you're diabetic or you've got some form of diabetes. Right. So let's just have a look into this, right? This is the diabetes is something that comes from the pancreas. It's pancreatic enzymes, right? They're called juice. Here, look, you're going to read it here. You can see that, right? Let me actually come back in and I'm going to blow this up. Let's go this way. That's it. Right. Okay. So you should see that in bigger now. Can you see that? Yeah, that's bigger. So during digestion, your pancreas makes pancreatic juices called enzymes. Now I'm doing this so hopefully if Cole sees this, this may help him and his family, right? Because knowledge and power, knowledge is the key to everything. Ignorance is our biggest enemy. Okay, if we know how the body works, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine had colon cancer and was on a one of these things, having the operation reversed soon because they've healed their body. So the body's a self-healing mechanism. If you run a car, you run a van, and you say you've got a diesel van, that diesel van will run happily all the time. It's getting a good service. It's got good diesel going in there. But the minute that you put petrol in that diesel van, it might get down the road a couple of miles and all of a sudden it's going to cough, splatter and break down because you're not giving it the correct things that it needs to combust properly to work. And it's going to break down and you've got problems. It's exactly the same with the body. The body will react to what you put into it. So if anyone's got cancer, diabetes, gallbladder problems, any of these things, it's a case of what you're putting into it and your body's reacting. Now, what your body will do for many years of your life, it will tolerate and use its organs to rectify what you're putting in and get rid of these toxins. But over a period of time, you overload your organs and it can't happen. The organ's like, oh, I'm breaking down. And that's all that they're doing. It's like you're putting the wrong fuel in. So the pancreas is an organ that produces enzymes. Now, you've all seen as a kid and that you've got mates that have had their appendixes out, right? Appendix, ruptured appendix, grumbling appendix. And you've got to ask yourself, why? Why do we get grumbling appendixes? It's because we don't eat all the green and all the beautiful fruit and veg of the rainbow that we're supposed to eat. Because when man was first put here, he was given all the things and he was living off the land. We weren't cooking his food. He was eating it raw off, and that's why we've got an appendix. And that's why rabbits have got big appendixes, because of the green grass. Now, the reason we get rumbling appendixes and we have to have them out is because we're putting the wrong stuff in our body. Now, the appendix is a regulator. It regulates things in your body. It's very similar to the gallbladder. The gallbladder is very, very similar. Now, you need all these organs to finely tune in. You can't go into a church and someone's playing an organ in a church and they're getting all these beautiful notes and melodies and that, and everyone's singing their hymns. You can't miss a few of them keys. You take a few of them keys out, all of a sudden it sounds like Les Dawson is playing the piano, right? It's all over the place. The idea of that organ is everything's in harmony and it plays in harmony. And it's the same with your body, right? You need these things in you, okay? We all hope his son is okay, but Cole should have more humanity about him. I get that, Will. I truly do. And I hope that anything that I offer up here today will help him and his family to make sure that his son and him are all fine. And I get it. If my kids were ill, I'd be panicking, I'd be worried, and I'd be taking digs at people probably, because that's what happens. It's one of our reactions, right? I certainly don't hold nothing against this dude, but I just offer him all the love in the world, and I hope that if you watch this, that you can implement things like this into your son's thing, and you can help get rid of his diabetes. I mean, don't get me wrong, he might have a damaged pancreas. I don't know. But the reason why I shrugged my shoulders in the shop was he's going, you got to put a mask on. My son's in hospitals. People like you putting him at risk. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know your son. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's in hospital for. That's because, like, I felt puzzled. I was like, well, you're just yelling abuse at me, and I've got no idea of your family, your situation. But look, let me make this very clear, people. I would never wish anyone any harm, or their children, for God's sake. I mean, that's just not me. Okay. So I want to clear that one out, absolutely, and I send him all my best wishes. You're breaking up, Trevor. Actually, that was 11:46. That's a while ago. UK media, good morning. Sean Gooner says vitamin D3. Absolutely. If you put into the body what you're supposed to do, Bob's your uncle. See, look, during digestion, your pancreas makes pancreatic juice called enzymes, right? And it is the enzymes that's very, very important. These enzymes break down sugars, fats, and starches. Your pancreas also helps your digestive system by making hormones. These are chemical messengers that travel through your blood. So we know that kids don't like fruit and veg too much, and they want all the E numbers and the fizzy drinks and the pizzas. That's the problem. If we can come away from that and say to our child, no, listen, and even dress the food up so it tastes a bit better for them. So the more raw fruit and veg that you put into your body, the quicker it will heal, the better it will be, the better it will function. Trust me, it really will. Look, I'm someone I'm 53 years old. Last year, because my testosterone levels have been dropping over the years from when I was in my 20s, and Lord knows I had plenty of it, my body was starting to slow down, and I found myself sleeping in the afternoons a couple of times a week and very lethargic. And I thought, this ain't right. I've got to physically do something about this. So I set up my studio, my gym, behind me, my boxing bag, my weights and stuff like that. And I've got to be honest, since I started doing that, and I do it 3, 4, 5 times a week, I've not slept in the afternoon for a long time. Ever since I started, I've just not slept in the afternoon. So, and I can feel my energy levels rising. I'm stronger. I feel better for it. So whatever happens to our body, we have to own it. We have to understand that there's a problem, right? The flag is up. Your son's ill or your mum's ill, whatever. And if we keep pumping into them the same stuff that we're pumping into them, and they just keep taking medication after medication, you're trying to get one to cancel the other, and it just don't make no sense. Okay, the only way your body comes back onto a line is if you give it the things it needs to thrive. Okay, and that's what we need to do. So that's the function of the pancreas. You'd have trouble living without a pancreas. Let me tell you, you'd have trouble living without many organs, and you normally have to take drugs to supplement these bits and bobs that these surgeons take out over the years from our gut. The gut itself is a very, very clever thing. The acid inside the gut, which breaks down your food, and that's why my group Super Juice Me has got 3,500 members on it now, and there's some fantastic testimonies on there, is that this part of your gut, your stomach, because the acid inside it is so strong, it's killing cells, but it's making them at the same rate. It's a continuum. It is such a clever design. The body is such a clever design, but we have to give it the right things, and we have to recognize, we have to go, I don't feel good. Right. What's the causation of why I don't feel good? Jason Val, who did a fantastic documentary called Super Juice Me, he's ranch in Portugal. He uses a goldfish in a bowl. He said the goldfish is in the bowl. It's got fresh, clean water. It's having the time of its life. He said, and over a period of time, it's got all this red wine going in, cigarettes, pizzas, this, that, the other. And it takes a pill and it feels a bit bad. And all of a sudden, this water's so toxic, the fish is green, it's laying upside down, almost dead. And he says, what is the only thing that I can do for this fish to save it? And everyone shouts out, says, change the water. It's that simple. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I certainly don't come in here to, my mission in life is not to harm anybody, not to offend anybody, because I stand up for my rights. Yeah. There's a guy in Bristol that's a tattooist. All right. And they talk like that down in the meet, don't they? Love them. My missus is Bristolian. The Bristolian people are gorgeous. They are real gorgeous people. Okay. Eating a steak takes a lot of sugar to break down. Boom. Iodine. Yeah, I've got Luger's iodine. It's quite fantastic, really. Over the years, the testimonies that I've got from people that have changed their life around and got rid of their dis-ease by changing their lifestyle, changing their eating habits, and changing their exercising patterns, etc., is miraculous. It is nothing short of a miracle, because they owned it. They took control. They wanted to find out why they were feeling this way, and they've seen miraculous recoveries. It is absolutely fantastic. My friend Dave Simpson from Wales, beautiful man, covered in psoriasis for years and years and years and years. Real bad, deep gashes, because psoriasis can be really dilapidating and really bad. He started putting CBD oil on it and cannabis oil on it. It's cleared up. It's gone. It's gone. Fantastic. And he'd been putting calamine lotion on it for years, and all it seemed to do was take it down. And he had other things he was putting on that was just completely irritating him. But as soon as he put the cannabis oil, he sent me some pictures of before and after. I'm like, wow, that's not the same man. That's not the same leg. Surely it can't be. And it happened so quickly. The minute he started using all these great things, these nature heals, nature is a healer, synthetic things like what the doctors prescribe don't assimilate with the body. They don't assimilate with your cellular structure. But anyway, that's enough of the health and wealth. The guy in Bristol, the tattooist, who's been standing under the common law, etc., he's standing up for his rights, right? And that's that's all that I do. I try and stand up for my rights. Now, I'm under no illusion that we're in a time period where there's some crazy shit going on. Morning, Rob. How are you, darling? There is some crazy stuff going on. But if we capitulate and just roll over as a people, and I've said before, if I genuinely believe that this, whatever it is that's out there, is killing thousands and thousands and thousands of people, I'd have 3 masks on. I'd be lined up for the jab. I'd be saying, stick it in me. Come on, give it to me. I would. But I'm not. Look, I like evidence-based. If there's a river, I want to see the river flowing. If it's raining, I want to see the rain falling out of the sky. If it's someone tells me it's sunny, I look at, I want to see the sun in the sky, and I want to feel that radiant heat on me. I like to have evidence-based things in my life, because my whole life being in the construction business, we have to build and make things and think things through with a common sense approach, right? Methodical. So I want to see this. Now, listen, they've never isolated this virus. This coronavirus has never been isolated. Never. And there is an alleged thing where there's an arrest warrant out for Matt Hancock, Minister Matt Hancock now. Apparently it's been to court and it's been stamped. There's an arrest warrant out for Hancock. So watch this space. Lord knows what is going on. It's quite wacky out there right now. So if I was seeing all of my villagers dropping dead, or I'm not unsympathetic. I'm very sympathetic, but I want to see the evidence. I want to, if this is truly a pandemic, I'd have lost half of my village or more already, and there would be bodies stacked up. We would have burial pits everywhere, wouldn't we? Because funeral directors wouldn't be able to cope. Mass graves would have to be. Look, I'm being honest. I'm being brutal. Look at the time periods before the Spanish flu. Look at the plague. Burial grounds. They just dig big holes and they put bodies in them and they cover them over. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. But I'm not seeing any evidence of that. in 14,000 people in my two villages. We've had an alleged old boy. And Peter Sutcliffe died yesterday, the Yorkshire Ripper. The man it took ages and ages to catch, and finally they did catch him. He terrorised women back in the 70s, and he died of COVID-19. Of course he did, because he's hardly here to question that narrative now. He's in say, actually, I didn't have COVID-19. This is crazy. It's just absolutely mental. The mentalists are absolutely running the show. But this tattooist, they've raided this shop, and when you see these police turn up, they're very quiet. They won't look you in the eye. They know they're in the wrong. They do. They can't believe they're having to do this. The police, I'm hearing reports that the police they've had enough of this. They know that they're being misused. Now, look, when the police formed, they were supposed to be apolitical. They were not supposed to be the dogs of politicians. They were supposed to be under the common law, the rule of law. That was it. That was all that they were subscribed to do. But now, politician barks his order, their dogs carry out the orders. The police aren't politicians' dogs. They call them their dogs. If you speak to a politician, they go, we get our dogs to do that. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Sutcliffe had loads of heart problems, but CV finally did for him. Exactly. He could have fallen off the edge of BT Head. That someone could have strapped him in a wheelchair, thrown him down the edge of BT Head and fell off. He'd been lit on the seagulls on the stones below and said, oh, he's got COVID. That's what he's died of. Were you sure about that 400-foot fall? Nah, can't have. Nah, it was COVID. COVID got him. The government couldn't miss such an opportunity. They had a man that terrorised women back in the 70s like you wouldn't believe. I can remember my mum. Oh, fucking hell, this is a bit tasty. I ain't going out. Nah. He terrorised women, Peter Sutcliffe. I'm grateful that they caught him, and he should have been done away with. He should have faced a murder charge and been hung or whatever. He should never have been able to live a life in prison. Never. And now he's dead. Now, if that ain't tragic enough for all these women to breathe a sigh of relief now, they've used this political tool, this chisel, that Sutcliffe's dead, but he's also died of COVID-19 to get that message amplified out around his country. It's unbelievable. How you doing, Joe? Will Smith can't see it being CV. No, nor can I. Are all the other people in the prison that were with him, are they all being tested for it? Have they all got it? I mean, making my own distilled water and colloidal silver is one of life's privileges. Not drink tap water rubbish forever, you know. God bless you for that too. Tap water, disgusting for you. The stuff that my distiller pulls out of tap water, you think he was in the River Medway, and the white, the powder round the rim. Look, that's. You know, when I went into Tool Station the other week and he started screaming at me, I get it. I understand that everyone's on a very high tension, and I was nowhere near him, and I was just like, I'm going to stand up for my rights. I am a rights actor for over 10 years now. I've been standing for rights. And he's get out of the shop. I'm like, for what reason? I'm near nobody. There's only me and my friend that we work with all together in the shop. I'm miles away from you. Why are you screaming at me? You know, and I'm like, no, why would I wish to live? I'm not harming anybody. It's people like you while my son's hospital. I'm like, that's not the case, mate. It's not the case. It was such an upsetting ordeal. And this is how the government is so clever in manipulating people and getting us to all fight amongst each other. They sit back and love it. Matt Hancock, Boris Johnson, I'm laughing their socks off. They can't believe the amount of frenzy they've whipped up in this country. They're animals. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. Not a chance. Proves the point the virus is dead cell, no pun intended. Yeah, a virus is dead. There's no a virus is a dead thing. It's not a living thing. Floyd does 3 years earlier, Auntie Mandy. Yeah, bless you. Richard Lewis, no chance, just like the George Floyd CV lied with a coffin that was shut tight and unable to be opened. We are, look, I just want everyone to realise that we're all part of the same race, and that we all have the right and the divine right to breathe fresh air. And if I was seeing the absolute evidence of a proper killer virus that was tasty, that was dropping the kids, the elderly, the middle-aged, anybody, like flies. I would not be going out. I wouldn't have even have been in a tool station. I'd be at home watching my flat screen and just chilling out. I'd be having my food delivered via Deliveroo, or I would not be going out at all. But from the beginning of this, you know, SARS, Ebola, AIDS, I never took no notice of it, because this is the simple fact. If you take notice of what the media is putting out there and you let it get you into a fear-based situation, you're not living your life. And if you're taking for gospel what the government and the media and the newspapers and the TV's pumping out into your brain through the media, then you've been massively deceived. Massively. Have you heard from Tool Station? No, I've just emailed this morning saying, you know, I'm now getting malicious communications through social media. I understand, you know, if my child was in hospital with diabetes, I would be beside myself. Of course I would. But to say that I've wished his son to be dead is just grossly wrong. I would not ever wish him or his family any harm whatsoever. And for me, just to go into a shop and not wear a mask, which is none of his business, is putting his family at risk. Then I want to know the mental reasoning behind it. Now, if I was up in someone's face and screaming and spitting, I could understand it. But I was just minding my own. And all I said to my friend was, we need one of these, is the number for it. And then it just all kicked off and spiraled from there. So, you know, it is what it is. And I've spoke to the company and their top brass, and they're like, oh, no, we're not allowed to do that. I said, no, I know you're not allowed to do it. Now, when I take them to task and they pay out, and they're going to be paying out because Qualities Act says they have to, unless they want to go to court, it's going to cost them up to £9,000, £10,000, not a problem. I get that cash, that's going to the homeless, that's going to the food banks. I don't need it. And that's not me bragging. I just don't need that thingy. So once this corporation pays out and realise what they're obviously letting their staff do, they need to take them to task. I could never scream and holler at someone like that. No chance. Not a chance. It's just not in my nature. And I will be giving that to the homeless and to the food banks. I will be going and buying lots of food and taking it to my local food bank, and I'll be taking it down to the homeless people and giving the homeless people some cash. That's exactly what I'll be doing with it, and we're going to record it all. It's going to be good. Michael Benicio is serving common law court documents on Hancock Monday's bundle has been accepted by CPS. Absolutely right. Now, actually, no, I better not talk about this story. I wish I could. A friend of mine's come to me with some real gold nuggets this week, and if I could share that, I would, but I would be betraying his trust, so I can't, and I'm gutted. I really would. One of my friends messaged me last night, bless him, love him to pieces. He says to me, am I a travelling man? Now, if anyone ever asks you if you're a travelling man, what it means is they're asking you whether you're a Freemason. And many people come under the illusion of, and I've tried explain to people that I am not in any way, shape, or form connected to the Freemasonry or any other boys brigade. I only serve the Most High. I serve Jesus, and that's it. I serve the Bible and Jesus. That's it. I can't be part of the boys brigade. Not a chance. But it's quite funny and fascinating. People rumors around you. I'm not. I'm not part of any Freemasonry. I might be these things. I'm certainly not part of it. Well, this boy recovers his opinion, and I really hope that he wants this, and he starts changing his boy's diet. I mean, if he starts to get good stuff in, it's all around. I wish I was prepared for his child. I was prepared for this to get better. Every day. I truthfully it's going, and I think it's very imperative that we stay on the ground. You know, I have resistance. I think Manchester is it today, Manchester? Or it could be next weekend in Liverpool as well. Guys, you know, if you're paying attention to what's going on now, so as well. They know what they're doing. You clearly see it's a lot. And I just hope they encourage students to stay others. The police, when they give their orders, should say, no, not doing that. That's a day I long for. I don't long for a day of violence. I don't long for a day of fighting with our own public servants. I long for the day where they realise within themselves what they're doing is wrong, and that they actually start saying no. Because the police, and what you understand about the police is they're just following their orders. Their governors turn around and say, right, go around to that house, do that, and they go and do it. They don't question the morality of what they're doing. They don't question the fact that what they're doing is wrong. It is totally wrong. So, instead of I've gone, I've got a bad signal, you've gone all Dalek. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to do some stuff. I wish Cole many blessings. I hope you're all right, and I hope your son is on the mend. And I hope that any information that we've given here today does help you. If anyone knows Cole, please get this message to him. Let him know I never ever wished any bad to him. And funnily enough, like Cole, I do pray every single day. And as soon as I found out your son had diabetes, you best I've been praying for him. I pray for the world every single day to come back to greatness and decency. I really do. Love you all. I'll see you all very soon. Take care.